if you're here, I think there's probably a message for you. We're going to do a pick a card about what your next romantic partner will be like. Get some extra information. These are the big Rider-Waite. They're quite hard to shuffle, but we'll give it a go. What will the collective's next partner be like? Next romantic partner. Okay, good. So we have pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. If you just take a moment, take a breath, see which of the 3 cards you're drawn to. If you're drawn to more than one, feel free to watch more than one pile. And I'll see you in your piles. Hello, pile 1. This is your card. The Chariot. Card of Cancer. Some people think it's the Emperor driving the chariot. It tends to be someone who's in control. The Emperor can be a bit controlling. Drawn to the black and white are facing in slightly different directions, but let's get some more cards and we'll clarify. We'll get 3 cards from the lights here, and then we'll get a bit more information from a different deck. Pile 1. What is their person going to be like? Okay, so the Empress wanted to show, so that would be quite nice if that is the Emperor, but we're going to pull from here. So we've got the 8 of Swords, Death card, and the Ace of Cups. So it looks like, I'm tempted just to have a little look through these. So we also had the Hangman, High Priestess, the 8 of Cups, and the Empress. The 8 of Swords is generally about someone being in their own head, someone sort of tangled up in their own thoughts. Death and rebirth, endings, new beginnings. The Ace of Cups is a new love offer or a new love opportunity. Let's clarify the 8 of Swords. Why is the 8 of Swords here for pile 1? What is their next person going to be like? What are they going to bring? Give us any extra information. Pile 1. Next romantic relationship. Whoopsie. So we have the 6 of Swords, the Moon, and the Star. So 6 of Swords on top of an 8 of Swords generally would indicate that this sort of phase is coming to an end, so that sailing off to smoother waters, things are settling down. Moon might be something hidden, something as yet unknown, some kind of darkness, something in the shadows. And the Star, that's wish fulfillment, heading towards somewhere nice. It's a positive card. I think we're going to have to see what comes out for Death and Rebirth. We might have to get a bit more information there, but it does look like your person might currently be a bit up in their head about something. Looks like that's clearing. The Death card. Why is the Death card here for pile 1? There's more about their person, traits, characteristics, anything else, situation, anything for pile 1. Okay. So we have the High Priestess. Again, can be a card of things not being seen or not being known, sort of secretive. I'm getting enough of that. Temperance, balance, patience, and the Empress. So looks like there's possibly something that's transforming in their life. It seems to be a bit hidden, seems to be a bit unknown. Maybe it's the direction, or Temperance, to say that's balance, kind of almost divine protection is coming off of that card. And the Empress, she's stable, steady, she's fertility, she's got a lot to give. Clarify the Ace of Cups. If we still don't have a lot of sense here, we'll clarify with some more cards, get some more information. Okay, so the Ace of Cups, I mean, the Empress would certainly be a person who was capable of bringing forward the Eight of Cups. Empress isn't gender specific, obviously, just the sort of divine feminine aspect that is within everybody. So it's, you need a balance of the male and the female. Male can be a bit controlling, whereas the female side of people is more loving, open, emotional, caring. Okay, why is the Ace of Cups here? Let's see. Okay, so we have the Nine of Pentacles. I think they'll all be in reverse, so we'll see whether that makes sense. Nine of Swords in reverse. The Ace of Cups, the Page of Cups, sorry, in reverse. King of Cups in reverse. And the Nine of Wands in reverse. So I think it looks like Nine of Pentacles tends to be a card of independence, being single, being, able to take care of yourself, got everything you need. But I think in reverse, I always sort of interpret it as not being single, moving into partnership, or kind of sharing a bit more, being open to being less independent. Not necessarily less independent, but less solitude. Got the Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords is a card about sort of sleepless nights, worries, similar to the Eight of Swords that came out earlier. In reverse, that's kind of letting go of worries about that. Mental fears, anxieties. Page of Cups. He's sort of maybe a bit naive emotionally, but willing to offer what he has. This Fish in a Cup. King of Cups, he tends to hold back a little bit. I mean, his face, to me, looks a little bit stern, a little bit like you wouldn't necessarily want to cross him. And he's not 100% sure whether he wants to step into that water or not. So in reverse, I think probably someone's attitude towards relationships, towards love, is probably matured, and they are more willing to step into a relationship or to consider a relationship as a positive, rather than previously. I think maybe they would have found it a little bit of a negative. And with the Nine of Wands in reverse, Nine of Wands to me is sort of boundaries or barriers, not really trusting that he can let go of that last wand yet, almost at the Ten of Wands, which is sort of ready to put down a burden. But in reverse, I think probably someone is letting down some boundaries, letting down some barriers. So I think your next person is someone who quite likes to be in control, is quite sort of independent, or has been independent in the past. Not necessarily that happy about it, look on the guy's face, but someone who is used to driving their own life, driving which direction they go in, possibly not used to compromise, but it's not making them super happy in the long run. So they want to kind of move away from that. They're not necessarily sure how or whether that is the best thing to do. But with the Star, I think they're happy to give a new relationship a crack. I mean, I think they're fairly stable, fairly steady, probably got, resources. So I think once they make up their mind that they are going to change and sort of get a bit more in touch with spirituality, with their need for somebody else, that they will be actually quite sharing and caring, steady and stable, patient. I think they will not be flighty. They'll be someone that you can rely on and someone that will open up. Might take a bit of time to open up, but I think once they've made their mind up, I think they're going to be a great partner by the look of that. Okay, let's grab 3 more cards and a crossing card from the lights here. Pile 1, what's the next person going to be like? Any extra information? Any extra information? Looks like they might be transforming from single independence into being open to a relationship, putting their boundaries down towards love. Okay, so we have the World, so stepping into a whole new kind of frame of mind, a whole new era. The Ace of Wands, which is a new, fiery, passionate start. And the Sun. So that's a very positive sort of moving forward and opening up and, bringing some light. We also had the Nine of Wands, which is that kind of barriers. I think they've got to release their barriers. Two of Wands, make a decision to actually move forward in a relationship. We've got the Knight of Cups, so it's an upgrade from the Page of Cups. So he's sort of got his white prancing horse and his roses and his blanket. So he's ready. The decision is to move towards offering some love. And the Tower. So I think it will be quite a shake-up for them with the Death card there and the Eight of Swords. I think it will be quite a lifestyle change for them. So I think your next person is quite probably, as I say, someone who is not used to being in a relationship, someone who's probably been single, but it looks like they're going to relish it. The Sun looks like it's going to be smooth once they get through this kind of initial angst and come in with the offer. Okay, pile 1, I hope that resonated. If it did, please drop me a comment, and I'll see you next time. Welcome to pile 2. If you chose the second card, this is your pile. We have the Two of Pentacles. Makes me think of someone trying to make a decision, weighing up possibly what they want or which direction to go in. Let's pull 3 energies from the Little Rider-Waite, and then we'll clarify with a different deck. Pile 2, what is their person going to be like? Okay, so we have 6 of Wands, 6 of Pentacles, and the 9 of Cups. So 6 of Wands, generally a card of celebration, recognition, public recognition. 6 of Pentacles, nice card, normally about sharing, sort of equal give and take potentially. Although I notice there is 3 people here, so we'll hold fire until we've clarified. On the 9 of Cups is sort of happiness, wish fulfillment, can be a card of greed or even drinking too much. Let's see. We'll pull some clarifiers from the lights here. Why is the 6 of Wands here for pile 2? What is their person going to be like? So we have the Page of Pentacles, the 9 of Pentacles, and the Nine of Swords. Oops. So Six of Wands, Page of Pentacles, tends to be someone possibly open to learning. I mean, it tends to be the card of the student, but pages are sometimes a little immature. Me, Nine of Pentacles, someone who's independent, single, enjoying their life, enjoying their own resources, kind of not necessarily in need of anybody else. And the Nine of Swords is sort of mental anguish, keep you up at night, sort of struggling with your own thoughts of doom or negative thoughts. Possibly could be someone who's not superly confident, but I think we'll clarify these before we make our final judgment on your new relationship. Why is the Six of Pentacles here for pile 2? Pile 2. Why is the Six of Pentacles here? Pile 2. Six of Pentacles for pile 2. Okay, I'm kind of drawn actually. Sorry, just before I lay these, kind of drawn to those look like very little crumbs that he's giving to this person. And this person is just kind of keeping him waiting with the scales of justice over his head. I don't normally notice those, but we will continue with the clarifiers. So we've got the Five of Wands, so that can be conflict, not sort of awful conflict, but something that is not smooth going, easy going. King of Wands and the Queen of Wands. So top of the Six of Pentacles. I am kind of getting the vibe that this is someone who might not have made up their mind to commit solely to a relationship. So they might kind of enjoy playing around a little bit with the Six of Wands, Page of Pentacles. It's quite an immature kind of attitude, and the Nine of Pentacles might enjoy that more kind of single vibe or that lack of commitment. But I'm not sure about the Nine of Swords. We'll see why that's here. The Six of Pentacles, as I say, I'm kind of getting the vibe that they may not be given equally. Might be a third party situation, and someone is getting crumbs and someone sort of waiting for justice almost there. With the Five of Wands, that would be the feeling that you might get if you were one of those people, I guess, waiting for justice or just getting crumbs. King of Wands and the Queen of Wands. King of Wands can be a little bit surface level, a little bit shallow, a little bit kind of my way or the highway. And the Queen of Wands can also be a little bit shallow. It's passionate. There's normally passion between these guys, but yeah, she's got a hand out, so maybe she's one of the person from the Six of Pentacles. And why is the Nine of Cups here? Nine of Cups. Where's the Nine of Cups here? I'm also drawn to that person in the Five of Wands who's reaching for the fire, almost as if trying to pull it down, pull the passion down for himself or herself. They're almost arguing about where that's going to be going, going to be landing. Okay. Nine of Cups. Where's Nine of Cups here, part 2? Tell us more about that person. So we have 10 of Cups following on from the 9 of Cups. 5 of Cups. And the Hanged Man. So 10 of Cups is sort of a card of happy families, wish fulfillment potentially, but it also can be especially in this deck, a little bit of a dreamy card, a little bit of maybe daydreaming. It's not very grounded. They're sitting up there on a rainbow. So someone may be feeling fulfilled with the Nine of Cups there, but I've got a feeling that that it may be, I want to say this Joker, but I don't know, that's what came into my head, this person. Five of Cups, I think maybe someone is going to fall off of that rainbow, and with the Hangman, that will give them a full new perspective on this person. So what I would want to say is maybe be careful of whoever comes in next, and make sure that you are getting the lion's share of their attention, or there's no competition for their attention, as it were, or for their commitment, their passion, because I think it could be that if you kind of come at it with rose tinted glasses, you could end up in the Five of Cups a little bit and sort of getting a new perspective on somebody. Let's actually use the animal deck. Unknown. Let's get 3 cards and a crossing card. Any extra information? Pile 2 on their next potential romantic partner. Any information? Pile 2, extra information. 3 cards and a crossing card on their next potential relationship. So we've got Justice. Reminds me of this Justice, Scales of Justice in the Six of Pentacles. Got the King of Wands again, and the Hanged Man again. So, oops, and the Strength card. So I think really it would be possible for you to kind of get the Justice over this, but it's going to take some inner strength, and I think it's probably, certainly don't rush in. Make sure your perspective is clear. Make sure you've sort of checked everything out before you commit too much or give too much to this, because I think there is a possibility that it might not be a great match. So definitely take your time, look at everything carefully. See how they react with people in restaurants, servers or bar staff or out and about. And if they give you a vibe that isn't good, I think you might need to take your inner strength and take your own rose off somewhere else. But hopefully it won't go that badly, and hopefully you will remember to definitely keep your beady eyes on them, not stalking or spying, but on their reactions to other people, how they treat other people, what they say, you kind of get a feel. Okay, good luck with this, and I'll see you next time. Hello, pile 3. If you chose pile 3, this is your pile, the 3rd card. So we've got the Hermit as the overall energy of your next person. Maybe someone who's kind of had a bit of a dark night of the soul, is used to, has kind of really maybe come to terms with their emotions, or, kind of looked at their traumas, or their, is a bit more kind of rounded than a lot of people may be. Let us see. We'll pull 3 energies from the Wild Unknown, and then we'll clarify with a different deck. So pile 3, what is their next person going to be like? Give us some more information. Any hints, clues? Okay, so we have the Hermit, funnily enough, the Knight of Swords, and the Justice card. So the Hermit, as we've already sort of spoken about, someone who has taken time to think about things, is considered in their approach, their manner, their emotions, potentially. We have the Knight of Swords. So someone who kind of getting the vibe off of this card that it's someone who doesn't really sort of mince their words, could be maybe a little bit overly direct. But the Justice, that's a nice balance, sort of things coming right type of energy. Let's clarify these. Why is the second hermit here for pile 3? What's the next person? Give us some information on about their next romantic partner who may be approaching. Okay, so we have Six of Pentacles. Normally a card of sharing, sort of being open to share. Five of Pentacles. Tends to be someone left out in the cold or feeling left out in the cold potentially. But the Sun. So the Hermit, clarified by the Six of Pentacles and the Five of Pentacles. So I'm kind of maybe getting that they have been through a bit of a dark night of the soul. Maybe they were in a relationship previously, which you know, they were putting effort into. They were open with sharing, and it kind of went bad for some reason. They got left out in the cold, but now they have kind of found their stable happiness, you know, the light again, as it were. But let's clarify the rest, see if that analysis is correct. Okay, why is the Knight of Swords here? There's the Son of Swords here, pile 3. Tell us more about their person, their next person. So we've got the World, Four of Pentacles, 4, 5, 6, and the Eight of Swords. So I think quite potentially the person, this person that's coming in, might well sort of have moved into a world where they're a little bit more self-reliant. They kind of had to step through from something, you know, they a bit dark night of the soul, but probably to do with a previous relationship or being mistreated by somebody. Or with the Four of Pentacles, they're a little bit reluctant to move out of this sort of solitude, kind of holding on to their independence, to their ability to maintain emotional equilibrium, because they're by themselves, you know, not getting embroiled in romantic relationships, because that thought causes them a little bit of anxiety with the Eight of Swords. They kind of got over it once, and maybe they're a little bit scared with the Four of Pentacles, a little bit holding back about moving on into another relationship. Why is Justice card here, pile 3? Tell us more about the next person that's going to be approaching romantically, coming into their life. Pile 3. Whoopsie. Okay. So, I'm not sure if one turned over in the deck there, but I'll have a look in a minute. So we've got the Hierophant, clarifying justice. Got the Devil, clarifying that. And the Ten of Cups. So, justice, clarified by the Hierophant, it really is something that's very important to them. They are not going to deal with any kind of unbalance in a relationship. You know, they really can't change their worldview back to someone who is able to kind of just share when things aren't in equilibrium. And with the Devil, they're Yeah, they are afraid of getting tied into the wrong relationship with the wrong person. So they're going to be very kind of cautious and not want to upset kind of the current equilibrium. With the Ten of Cups, I think they are able to envisage, to dream about a relationship that actually would work for them. So I think they're a steady, stable kind of, they're actually very sort of upright, upstanding kind of a person, but they are a little bit reticent, and it kind of gives them a bit of anxiety to let go, to kind of lose control of their emotional independence, their emotional equilibrium. Okay, let's get 3 cards and a question card from Lightseer. A bit more information about this person. How's it going to go? Will they manage to make it home to the Ten of Cups with pile number 3? Okay, so we have the Queen of Cups, Queen of Pentacles, 6 of Cups, and the King of Cups. So that's quite a nice balance. So it's looking like they will actually kind of manage to muster the courage, the inner strength to get involved in a relationship, although they might hold back a little bit at first. They might still sort of think about things that went wrong in the past, so you might have to be a bit patient with them for that. I mean, this guy kind of looks sad to me rather than just nostalgic. He kind of looks a little bit sad, but you're going to have to just be gentle with them, be patient with them, give them space, time to kind of work through what they have sort of been working through, but then got stuck on being able to move to the next stage again. And I think they will get there, but they may hold back, as I say. They may well be someone that holds back a little bit, certainly for a while, at the beginning of the relationship. Okay, pile 3. Hope that resonated. Hope it's helpful. If it was, please like, drop me a comment, and I'll see you next time.